Thank you for joining. I know it's now becoming during working hours. If you have any comments on the timing, you can list and ask also your questions in the Q&A section. If you have any comments, you can leave them as well there. To start with, when we talk about virtual reality, when it started, it was always an association to gaming. And thanks to gamers and their fast way of adopting early technologies, we have reached this stage. At HTC VIVE, we didn't stop there. We have expanded the XR world into different verticals. And under our enterprise business today, we work with the training and education vertical. We work in collaboration and visualization, in location-based entertainment, healthcare, and many more sectors. Today, we are very excited to bring to you pioneers in architecture, design, engineering, and construction, who will share with us their experience on how they used virtual reality in their field. A very sensitive and complex topic with tremendous impact on the way we do architecture and design and construction in today's world. But it's a very important and very futuristic approach to take virtual reality, adopt it, and make those people's life easier, whether they are architects, design, visual artists, and so on. With me, I have Sorin, an AEC technical sales specialist for connected BIM and computational design from Autodesk Middle East. His main area of expertise is helping companies in the architecture, engineering, and construction sector to successfully adopt digitization, cloud collaboration, and automation. By using the Autodesk AEC wide portfolio and solution, he's able to give expertise, advices, and insights while focusing on a mix of consultancy and technical sales services throughout the region of the Middle East, Africa, and Asia Pacific. Also, I'm happy to have with me Michael Naguib, who's an architect by major, and who's got hands-on experience in 3D modeling, rendering, animation, and creative media solutions. He had the opportunity to contribute to vibrant architecture firms and designs in Dubai and Abu Dhabi through his designs and projects, with a passion of passing the knowledge and skills in 3D workthroughs, fly-throughs, architecture animation project, and all this in real estate exhibitions, development, and especially adding to it the virtual reality element that myself, I've experienced this project working with him with few clients in the region. At HTC, we work closely with Autodesk. Latest project, we were exhibiting in GITEX with Dubai Internet City through our B2B customer base. And we showcased the latest VR solution using their services. And with Michael, we work on different projects in UAE, through Abu Dhabi, Dubai, different events and different clients to showcase their VR concepts using the HTC VIVE headsets. For me, I've got few housekeeping rules. We will be switching off all the cameras and microphone to maintain a decent bandwidth for the quality of picture and videos throughout the presentations. Please use the Q&A section to ask any question you have around the topic. And if there are any questions that might require a follow-up, our team will reach out to you after this session. And we will handle the questions that you will post in the Q&A, filter them, and ask them to our esteemed speakers. I've just have a quick shout to Mrs. Abir from DIC and the DIC team, who helped us in making those events very successful. For that, we have the handles from Dubai Internet City at Dubai Internet City for Instagram, DIC_community for Twitter, and LinkedIn and Facebook, Dubai Internet City. I will welcome my first speaker, Sorin from Autodesk, who will start talking about his solution.
Thank you, Daniel, for the kind introduction and for the invitation. It's a pleasure for me to talk about our latest in the VR domain. My name is Sorin Bularca. I am the technical sales specialist at Autodesk Middle East, based here in the Dubai office. It's a pleasure for me to present these tools that we have for the VR. And with immersive design, engineers, designers, and builders, they can basically quickly and easily turn their CAD and BIM data into interactive real-time experiences. So all these technologies will help you navigate rich design environments so you can make better informed decisions and create compelling experiences. I'm going to talk about what are VR, AR, and MR. So some quick definitions for the ones of you that are not very familiar with these technologies. We will see some use cases and how we can use these basic technologies in different domains. And I'll have some very nice examples from the work that we have done with some of our clients and our partners. We will talk about tools. So I hope by the end of my presentation, you will have a better picture of what you need, basically, if you want to start a VR project. We will look at some third-party tools. We have very good partnerships with hardware providers like HTC, but we also have very good partnerships with software providers, which have very good applications which are very well integrated with our AEC portfolio. I will show you some apps that you can use for augmented reality and the progress that these apps have done in the recent years. This urban planning case study from Paris, from the city of Paris, they used VR technology for urban planning case example, and I'll show that to you. I will also introduce you to the Autodesk VR Center of Excellence. Basically, this is our little playground for VR. So let's get started. So if you aren't familiar with Autodesk, I will give a quick introduction. Basically, we make software and tools that help our customers design and make anything, basically, from skyscrapers, building components, to bridges and blockbuster movies or video games. We have more than 9,000 employees worldwide, and we have more than 80 million active users of our software. So many of our customers are like you, architects, engineers, contractors, project managers, and all other kinds of people involved in the, let's say, AEC sector, but we also support the different industries, manufacturing, media and entertainment, and other industries. So we started basically 38 years. That was when AutoCAD was first released. It's one of the oldest software on the market, by the way. And we are now in a position to offer more than 150 tools to our customers. So we are basically in a, let's say, in a privileged position, I would say, from a software provider perspective, where we have access to the expertise from all these industries that allows us to blend basically these technologies. And what we are noticing as a trend, these technologies start to converge and intersect with each other. So we are seeing basically technologies like virtual reality, which is initially was a gaming technology, which is it's brought into the construction industry. This is just one example. We also have manufacturing and also other technology. So it's a very exciting time for the AEC industry, very exciting time to be working in this domain, because now we have these amazing tools that can help us make our work more efficient and I would say even more fun. So extended reality, basically all these technologies, virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, they are all put under the naming of extended reality, and they are basically combined environments and human-machine interactions generated by computers and technology. So basically, we interact with computers using these wearables. Quick definition of these technologies. So first, virtual reality. Virtual reality replaces the real world with a simulated one in 3D, and you can immerse yourself in this world by using these VR devices. You can interact basically with these environments. Augmented reality or AR adds digital elements to the real world. So basically, it combines reality with a digital world. It basically augments reality. That's why it's the name. It's augmented reality. And we have mixed reality, which is a hybrid of virtual reality and augmented reality. Basically, mixed reality allows you to touch an object from the real world, but at the same time, you are controlling something in the digital world, in the digital model. So this being said, there's a lot of applications and use cases for these technologies. Specifically, and I will refer to the building and design and the construction industry. And we have internal use cases like testing, design validation and review, collaboration, simulations and presentations. These are all internal use cases, but we also have external use cases. Like, again, you can present the models, the architectural design in a more immersive way. It can be used for marketing purpose, for sales, product integration, and even for user support. And I will actually show you some of these examples. Now, what do you need to do if you want to, let's say, adopt this in your office? What do you need? What tools do you need? So there are a few tools, and the first thing that you need is a 3D model. Okay, so this 3D model can be done with hundreds of software. And we at Autodesk, we have, as I mentioned, more than 150 software, but specifically for the AEC users, we have a product called AEC Collection. It includes 25 software that you can use for modeling, and you have even capabilities for VR. These are all available with one single subscription. So we want to make things easier for our customers, and we want to enable them with all the tools that they need from one single source. You also need a gaming engine, and this is available from Autodesk. It's called 3D Max Interactive. So it's part of our 3D Max software. It's a plugin called 3D Max Interactive. You can also use third-party or partners of Autodesk like Unity, Unreal game engines, which are very famous game engines. You will need also a VR-ready PC, and you will of course need a VR set, and HTC can help you to choose the best headset that is required for your use case. So VR is often referred as the next generation of visualization. Here I'm showing you just an example of a VR experience from a BIM model, basically, that was made in Revit. This model was brought into our 3D Max software. And with the 3D Max Interactive plugin, basically, this VR interaction was made possible. So you have basically possibility of immersing yourself into the design. You have like a laser beam or teleporter, which can help you navigate through the building itself. And it's a much more, let's say, interactive way, and much more meaningful way to present basically your designs to your customer instead of showing just a 2D drawing, basically with some perspective views. So technology basically nowadays enable this. And as you can see, now it's accessible, and you can easily turn these tools and adopt these tools. You can also have the possibility of changing your design. So you can create this kind of immersive interactions with your models, where you can point the laser beam to a wall. You can choose a material from a library that you can provide to your customers, and then you can very easily basically change the material. So you can change the design options without having to learn, Revit, or without having to go to the design board again and changing the model itself. So it makes it more fun, I would say, and it's much more flexible and gives more possibilities for the customers. Now, if we talk about tools for creating these VR scenes, so as I mentioned, we need tools to create the 3D model, and then we need tools to animate that model and create these interactions. So for this, one of our main tool is, as I mentioned, 3D Max Interactive. I mentioned it before. It's a game engine. Initially, it was developed for the gaming industry, was acquired by Autodesk, and it's now built in 3D Max, 3D Max software. and it supports very good interoperability with 3D Max itself, and also with Revit and with our architectural tools. We have also a premium software for VR, which is called Autodesk VR. It's mostly used by the automotive industry, and it also has very high quality of rendering, which is required basically by the automotive industry. It also requires the highest hardware specification. It's also the price is much higher than for example, 3D Max. And you have also Unreal, Unity, the game engines that we have partnerships with, and we have better and better interactions each year. So they have plugins, and I will basically show you some of these plugins. So these plugins, or these third-party tools that have very good interactions, these are some of them. Unity Reflect from Unity. You have Enscape, which is very popular. The Wild, which allows you to collaborate, and it allows you to do online VR meetings. We have Iris VR as well for large model support coordination, and we have also Inside VR. So just a quick view on these, just to give you an idea of what these tools can do. First one is Unity Reflect. This is Revit. This is our Revit architectural software. With one push of a button, basically, you can send your Revit model to Unity Reflect. And it's very good for to review your model. So, but from customers' perspective or project leads, that don't have time to learn Revit or change all the settings in Revit, so they can basically visualize the changes in Revit in real time in a VR environment with this Unity Reflect. Another very popular one I mentioned is the Enscape for Revit. Its functionality is a bit similar to the one of Unity Reflect, and you can see here on the left side we have Revit, on the right side we have the rendering and in Enscape. So you change some furniture in Revit, you can see it in render mode in an instant. Also, you can activate the VR mode. And you can very quickly switch between modes, exterior mode, interior mode, and also you can navigate and review the project. So again, you have the controllers which allow you to point your laser and easily navigate through the model itself. You can take snapshots, you can capture different angles and cameras. And that's Enscape. The Wild, this is another application. It's very well integrated with our BIM 360, which is our cloud software that supports basically different architectural models and file formats that can be converted and shared and collaborate on them. And they have this plugin basically that allows you to interact, create live meetings and reviews. But again, it allows you to even do changes in your design. So this is a snapshot of this. You have Revit, then you install the plugin, you just click on the plugin itself, and it brings you basically into the virtual world. And the nice thing about it, you can even see your peers in there. You can see the models from different hardware perspectives. So somebody can be connected using the VR headset. Others can be connected just using their tablets. And this is an example of how you can do a modern, or let's say, 2020 project review. Now it's also a difficult year because we are socially distanced. So this kind of technology can help us break basically these barriers and these restrictions. So it's a very good tool that can be used with a lot of potential for project review, and you can even use it to create and manipulate geometry. In this example, you can see you have some triggers that allows you to interact with the objects, and you can even create basically conceptual design in VR environments. Iris VR, another nice application. I think you got the idea. It's basically kind of similar functionality. You can experience the model at small scale, like let's say a small scale version of this of it. But you can even go into real mode, and you can start to navigate. You can start to review it. So you have tools that enable you to do redlining. It allows you to capture different views. So you can save those cameras, and then next time you're entering this, you can immediately switch between different angles. Last one from this is Inside VR, again, very well integrated with our BIM 360. This is our BIM 360 platform, and it allows you basically to connect and co-work on the same Revit models at the same time. So you can basically build that geometry together with your peers, which are located in different offices around the world. You have this Inside VR plugin with a click of a button. You can go into VR mode. And again, you can manipulate the small scale version of it. Or again, you can see your peers, you'll see their headsets, and you have a lot of nice features that allow you to review this. And you can create issues. Yeah, so issues basically can be assigned to somebody, and you can basically also track the work in your projects. So you can see if the issue was solved, and the person basically will just receive an email notification with the change that needs to be done. So it also solves basically this long collaboration and coordination problem that is there in the industry. Another high and important aspect is training and simulation. This can be also done with VR. Basically, the idea is that you can train your employees that will work in a factory before the factory is finished or the installation is finished. Like, it's very relevant for oil and gas industry. Basically, you have the BIM model ready, you can train them in VR, and by the time the construction is done, they already know where the equipment is located and also how to interact with that equipment. And myself, I was involved in a project for a big power company in South Korea that had this need to basically develop a training in VR. So they had a model ready, and basically we build all this VR interaction to train their staff and understand basically how to use the equipment. So it's a very good example of how VR technology can be used to improve basically the training and also reduce the time until the building becomes operable. Now, a few apps for AR, augmented reality. I've already showed what augmented reality is. We have a very simple one. It's called Augmenture. It basically allows you to put a QR code on your drawing. With a tablet, you can scan the QR code and you can see the BIM model on your tablet. So from 2D, you can see, you can convert it to a 3D model. We have this Gamma app. Gamma app is basically an app that overlays a digital model into the real world. So it's basically, it's combining, let's say, the structure, if the structure is ready, with the MEP. This allows you basically to visualize all the ducting. It's good for operations and maintenance. You don't have to remove the ceiling in order to understand where your pipes are located. So you can just use this kind of app in order to identify the potential issues and where they are located. So it's a very good example of that. We have Holo Builder as well. This is more like it's good for construction because you can do basically site inspection without having to go on site. You can just send one person. That person can take 360 videos. Those 360 pictures, basically, they can be synchronized with our BIM 360 Docs, which is our cloud collaboration platform. And you can create issues directly on the 360 images. Those issues, again, can be tracked, can be assigned. See, this is a list of the issues. And you can see the person who's supposed to fix that. And basically, it allows you to do all the project inspection using these 360 pictures. And lastly, we have HoloView, BIM HoloView. It has direct connection with our Nevis and Navisworks. And it allows you to basically overlay, again, the MEP works with the structure. So similar to the previous one that I was showing you. Now, I want to show you this urban planning case study for VR, which was done by the City of Paris in collaboration with Autodesk. Basically, they are planning to do a revamp of the downtown area. It's about 2.4 kilometers radius around the Eiffel Tower. This will be done for the 2024 Olympics. And the idea is here was to create a BIM model, a digital version of downtown Paris. This will enable architects, engineers to create new proposals in a much more modern, more efficient way. So first, there was a company that used to scan the surroundings. So they use basically mobile scanners mounted on cars. So they drove on all the roads around the center of Paris. It generated more than 300 gigabytes of point cloud. These are some samples from the point cloud data that they used. And you can see this point cloud basically was shifted into our InfraWorks platform. This is the InfraWorks platform, also one product from the AEC collection that I mentioned before. This InfraWorks basically works as an aggregator of data. So you can bring in point cloud, you can bring in BIM models, and this is where you can join everything together. You can even simulate traffic, and you can add people. So this was the process of creating this model. Of course, the building were done with modeling software like Revit, AutoCAD, different kind of tools. So it was a combination of tools. And just what I wanted to show, this is the final BIM model. You can see the size of it. And basically, these are the combination of different platforms that were used for modeling, capturing existing reality capture. So different kinds of technologies. I was mentioning about the trend of these technologies converging. This I think is one of the best examples that shows basically how these different tools can be connected and for a very good purpose. And in the end, of course, the highlight of this was the VR model that was created. Basically, it allows you to visit Paris and interact with this model. You can teleport yourself. And by the way, this model is available for free. It's available to download. And if you have a VR set, basically you can use it to test. A nice feature that I like, they even put daytime or nighttime. So with the triggers, you can switch between different modes very easily. So you can have a feeling of how the tower looks like in the nighttime or in the daytime. And lastly, Autodesk VR Center of Excellence. Basically, this is our playground for VR. It's actually a center that we have built in our office in Munich, in Germany. We also have let's say, reduced version of that in our office here in Dubai. So we can also help customers understand how this technology can work. But here, basically in Germany, we have invested in the best tools, best hardware, and also some of the tools that we can provide. And it's a demo environment for our customers. I just want to show you a quick tour of it to understand what it's possible to do there. Of course, there's a lot of car industry there that it's supported by that. So basically, we enable customers to bring their models. We can convert them into VR environments, and then they can interact and they can visualize these designs. They can even experience how to drive the car. And it's a combination of VR. It's a combination of mixed reality as well, because you can interact. This is an example where you have a real object that is tracked, that allows you to interact with a digital one. So you can slice your VR model using an object that is tracked in space. And you can start to move objects and furniture. So it's a great way of showing how this technology works. It gives the best idea to the customers of how it is. VR is supposed to be experienced because this is the best way of understanding the potential of it. I have some resources that I want to share with you. If you want to get started, I highly recommend the area.autodesk.com. It's a very good source regarding 3D Max and what's the latest, and it's our best resource for VR as well. And we have Autodesk University. This is our largest event for the industry, for the AEC industry, where there's a lot of classes, free classes that you can attend from the past years, where you can learn how to basically use and how our customers basically use this technology. So with this, I would like to conclude. As I have shown you in the past, let's say 20 minutes, more than just cool technologies, AR, VR, MR are changing how we design, create, and experience everything from factories, buildings, and cars to training, learning, and entertainment. So thank you very much. I will be also on standby for the questions. So I will pass it back to Daniel.
Thank you very much, Soren. Very interesting stuff. I mean, we've seen from designs to VR to tools that everyone can use, from starters to expert to different applications. I mean, I can see questions starting to come in. I'll address them immediately after Michael's part. For everyone, please feel free to start asking questions that we will filter, and I will add to the rest of the questions asked. For now, I'll pass the floor to Michael.
My name is Michael Naguib. I'm a senior architect at LWK Partners. I believe by now most of us know about the immersive technology, but maybe they don't know how to start. So today I will share my experience, and hopefully by end of the presentation, maybe I give you a little bit help to start your own virtual reality development. Our journey started almost 4 years ago when we had the chance to visit Chaos Group or V-Ray. I'm not sure if my camera is visible. Okay. So we had a chance to visit Chaos Group or V-Ray, and they introduced us to a new tool in their program, which is the 360 rendering. And that's where we start learning about the 360 stereoscopic kind of rendering, which is a very simple classic technique to create an illusion of depth. Basically, you use two cameras, and the distance between these two cameras simulating the distance between the left and the right eye. And if you know, you might know that already. If you close one eye and look with the other one, you will notice that there is a little slight difference between the image you see. And that slight difference is actually the reason you can see a depth, or you can see the image in 3D. Your brain do the magic. And that was very interesting for us to start using this technique and start creating some kind of a 3D visuals. It was static images, and back then we used Samsung Gear VR. It was a very simple setup. You just render your image, your architectural building, and place it inside your phone, and then you can put your phone inside the VR headset and look around. But as you can see here, the girl is not interacting with the environment, just looking around. And that was exactly the reaction from our colleagues when we showed them the work. They were excited, but they couldn't really engage with the environment. It looks so realistic. The sense of scale is amazing, but sadly, it's just a static image. And that's put us on another challenge. We wanted to give a little bit more interactive solution to our clients. And that's where we start planning or mapping our project with some hotspots. And then we allow our client to move or to teleport from a spot to another using a simple click. Again, that was still a very good step forward. And again, our clients liked the idea. Obviously, they didn't only use it for 3D rendering visuals, but also there was a lot of 360 cameras released in the market, which allow you to do this for real estate or for developers, just to visualize existing properties. That was really a very good step for us, and we were very happy about the result and the quality. But again, we were aiming for a more interactive environment. We wanted almost that people can engage and move and can actually pick up furniture. We want this kind of level of interactivity. And we thought that static images will never help us, simply because the static images is using the conventional rendering engines, which allow you to create realistic material. But the process of having this realistic material sometimes take hours. So for example, rendering one project might take 1 hour, and this is the minimum. Sometimes it even take more, and I'm sure architects or 3D artists are aware of that. So we had to move to another rendering engine that allow us to render 90 frames per hour, which is 90 times the amount of frames we can get by the conventional render. Can you believe that? Actually, I'm lying. We actually wanted to render 90 frames per minute. Actually, I'm still lying to you. We had to go down all the way to render 90 frames per second. And that was a huge challenge for us using the traditional or conventional rendering engine. So we started investigating the market. Obviously, there was few options in the market, but we have chosen the Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine, it's a kind of an easy application to use. You can import all your 3D data, and then you can export it in an XE format. And this can be shared with your client anywhere. It's a format that can be used without any additional software, and that was very important for us, that we don't need a third-party program to open the files we share with our clients. So we started from there, and there was kind of some production or pre-production required to build up our VR applications. Obviously, most of the architects or designers are using Autodesk 3D Max, and they usually export the model to Unreal Engine, and from Unreal Engine they start adding all the codes or all the interfaces that is required for their design. But thanks to Unreal Engine, they start looking in some challenges that we were facing. For example, the materials conversion, the model accuracy, the model optimization, and they created for us a plugin or a tool that allow us to export from SketchUp or 3D Max directly to Unreal Engine without any need of extra work. So that really saved a lot of time for us. I'm sharing now with you a sample project that we have done, and that was only a desktop application. But in this application, you're gonna notice that we are invested a lot of time looking into the details, looking into the material, and giving really the wow factor that we were looking for. So as simple as a video game, you just play the video file, play the exe file, and then you can move around using the keyboard controllers. And in order to add a little bit more immersive experience, we start adding sound everywhere. For example, if you are passing by the TV, you can hear the sound from the TV. If you are close to birds or outdoor environment, you start feeling the outdoor ambience, just to add a bit more kind of details. So that was our first attempt to do a desktop application, and now we wanted to test it on a virtual reality headset. And we have chosen HTC VIVE as we noticed that the quality is really high, but also because it has a very accurate motion sensors, which allow the user of the headset can freely move inside the virtual reality space, even in some details like bending down and look under the table. It's very easy and approachable using such a headset. And also the resolution was very high and it matched our expectations. So we went back before starting creating our projects. We wanted to know what exactly the clients need and how we want to communicate with our clients. So traditionally, we communicated with our clients as architects through 3 mediums. It's either we do animation, or we do rendering, or we submit a 3D physical model. And I'm sure yet most of the architects or designers are familiar with these 3 mediums. But looking at the virtual reality, we find that it opened for us the door to share much more tools or options or benefits as a medium to communicate with our clients. So I'm gonna show you some of these functions or tools that we have used. The first main advantage of using the VR is the sense of scale. One of our clients, when we showed him the design of one of the architecture buildings, he spotted the canopy that he originally liked and he asked for, but when he saw it in the VR, he said, oh, that looks a little bit bulky. And he couldn't get this decision or this comment if he couldn't see the real life scale. So VR was very unique to give a sense of real scale to our clients. The other thing we managed to build in introduction or an animation, but in this scenario, instead of watching it on a flat screen, you are inside the animation. So the camera takes you from a space to another, and all you can do is just look around and enjoy the tour. But also we have managed to develop some functions like teleport to different locations. For example, we develop not only one space or one building, sometimes we design a whole master plan. And as you may know, master plan might have hotspots or interest districts. And it will be a bit difficult just to manually teleport, moving step by step to go to a very far destination, might be 4 kilo away. So we start creating hotspots where we can immediately move and visualize the project from a different location. And as I think Sureen covered that part as well, that the best part of VR that you can immediately experience the day and the night scenario in your project. And finally, not finally, but this is very important point, the design options, which also Sureen covered it in this part, that the flexibility of making mix and match and showing different materials and for different design options to your client on the spot, it really helped us to speed up the approval process. So whatever takes, let's say, 20 days, it takes now 3-4 days, maybe 1 or 2 meetings, and we get the approval on design. And finally, a screen capture, which I found it very unique and very useful, because when we do traditional rendering, we usually wait hours for any single image. And if the client asks for a change camera, that's another couple of hours extra. But in the VR, once you work on your project, or once you import it to Unreal Engine, you have the chance to see the project from any angle, fully rendered with full high material. So that was one of the very interesting tool or function we developed in our application. Now I'm going to show you an example of one of the projects that we have fully developed in the VR. So as you see, it's an interior design project where we have added some interactive function to some of the furniture. So you can move some assets around and place it somewhere else. As usual, you have the teleport in your hand, but also you can move like walking thanks to the motion sensors tracking system for VIVE. Now we have in your hand all the functions that you can use. For example, shuffling between day and night. You can hear the ambience outside. That was very important for us to try to give a very full experience to our users. So I'm showing here in this video that the VR user will actually bend down and look below the table. And that's the advantage of VR. You can freely move around and look inside your project. You can see when I move closer to the window, I can hear the bird's ambience. And finally, I'm sharing the teleport option, which can take me from a space to another immediately. And you can see here the function of changing materials. And we can add unlimited set of materials or finishes that we would like to propose or present to our client. Okay, so move. All right, so the final point I would like to talk about, it's probably the misconception about the virtual reality. So I think a lot of people think that virtual reality or any new technology is expensive. And I wanted to clarify that in my next few slides. So we have made kind of a comparison between a render we have done in V-Ray and a render we have done in the Unreal Engine or virtual reality. And we have seen that the advantage of having a virtual reality application gives you much more than what you expect from traditional rendering. For example, in 4 weeks, you can get 4 renderings and 1 minute animation and 1 physical model if you're assuming that you're using 1 single machine and 1 user, 1 person. But if you are having the same person, on the other hand, using the real-time rendering engine, you can get unlimited number of screen captures because you have a fully baked model. Also, you can get up to 2 minutes animation, even more. But the best part that instead of physical model, you give a real scale one-to-one model that you can walk in. Of course, the design options and the variations is very important. Unlimited number of hotspots or location you can identify in your model, the day and night scenario. And surprisingly, this is not even done in 4 weeks. We have managed to get all these outputs in 3 weeks. So you actually can save money by using the real-time rendering technology with, of course, the virtual reality. So that's my part. I hope that I give you some information, and I hope I encourage you guys to start your journey in immersive technology. And I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Very insightful conversation. I like the fact that we've seen with Sorin the part related to Autodesk and how we were able to get things in perspective with you on a real application, how you managed from business perspective, providing those VR experiences integrated already from an architecture and design software, and how we showcased at the end the value and the differentiation between both, which is a very important thing when we as HTC VIVE talk to customers or talk to ISVs who are willing to take this on board and see the challenges and how can virtual reality open many perspectives. Thank you very much for that. I will start now taking the questions and asking you those questions. For now, I will start with Sorin to mention that we've got some interest on the solutions from Autodesk but still people are asking how easy and how difficult it is to migrate from a CAD or a BIM file to a VR using the Autodesk application. And does a generic CAD or BIM file work, or there should be some specific elements that the designer or an architect to take into consideration?
Very nice presentation, Michael. I was really impressed by the work you guys have done. I specifically liked the example where the customer noticed that the canopy, actually it's a bit too bulky and it's too big. And this emphasizes basically the fact that it's basically a natural idea, because we live in 3D environments and we spend our lives in 3D environments. But when we review projects, we switch to 2D. So there's many things that escape our attention in 2D or when we look at screens. But when we immerse ourselves in the building itself, we have a better perspective or a better scale of how the design will look like. And something that I also liked, in VR, everything looks very clean. There's no, everything is where it should be. And I relate to that because now I have a small baby, and you can never see that in real life, So it's one way, it's just a joke, but you can basically, control what your customers will see. So you can basically have place different lights, clean all the space, and make it as nice as possible. So these are my two observations regarding your question, Daniel. I think recently the Autodesk basically and the software industry has pushed and developed these tools to make them more and more accessible. And from our perspective, basically, we have, let's say, Revit, which is our modeling tool for buildings, and it's very well integrated with 3D Max. So there's an FBX format where you can transfer your model into Revit, into 3D Max. 3D Max, you can play with the materials, you can play with the lighting, you can do the fine tuning, and then basically the next step would be to link that the same. So you can send the same scene with all the lights and everything, you can send it to Max Interactive and create the optimization. So we've worked to make this transition as smooth as possible. Of course, there's some small tweaks that you need to consider. So one aspect, the first aspect, is the interoperability, which it's growing and it's being developed year by year, and today it's at a level where it makes it much easier than before. And another aspect is the optimization of your models, because as I mentioned, you have control of what you're seeing. When you are producing a B model for architecture, you are placing there all the relevant objects in your model that are relevant for the authorities or for architectural purposes. But when you switch to let's say interior design scene, probably those objects are not relevant anymore. So you probably need to optimize a bit your models. Again, if you're doing urban planning, you don't want to know, it doesn't interest what is inside those buildings. So in order to release the demand on your systems, it's important to do some cleaning of these models. So it depends on the purpose. So you need to do some simplification of the geometry, and there are tools that can automate this process. So you need to get rid of some objects in order to make the scene more accessible and easier to work with. So I think that's my answer.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I'm running out of time and I've got more questions. Please, can we limit the answer now to 2 minutes, please? Another question is someone who's being in the facade lighting industry and is asking if light and linear light on distance is developing issues with renders under Unreal. I mean, I guess you can answer from your perspective from, Autodesk. Maybe if you know.
So I think for this question, I will have to take it offline, because I will need to understand a bit what the use case is. So probably we can take it offline. But as I mentioned, the lighting can be transferred from in our portfolio of products for Unreal and Unity. Basically, this can also, it might be also related to their software as well. So that's why I think it's related to the use case. So probably, yeah, please. Yeah.
Does Max Interactive support V-Ray?
3D Max, yeah. So Max Interactive is part of 3D Max, which supports V-Ray. So yeah, it's possible. Yes, it's supported.
Okay, one question to Michael. How was the impact of VR into your pitch to clients in developing projects for architecture consultancies, and what was the feedback in general? You gave few examples, but we know that you moved from a traditional architect who does the CAD, BIM, everything traditionally to maybe just selling through VR. Can you in 2 minutes just give us this, because it's very important for attendees to understand, because I believe those who are on this forum and webinar are interested in this part.
Yeah. I see what you mean then. So the feedback or the way that our clients experience VR went through different phases. Of course, the wow factor usually is the first timers. And that was like 4 years ago when we start using the simple headset. And as simple as that, Daniel, once you give your client the headset, and even if we are sitting around in a meeting room, he actually stand up and he try to walk. And we at some point we told one of our clients that, sorry, but you cannot walk with the headset, because first of all, you are looking at static image, and it's not fully interactive, so you won't see different visuals. But that was the first impression. But the second thing that I want to say, some of our clients that start asking for the VR, and they actually mention it in the brief. So it's not always us going and pitching using the VR, but actually our clients now understand and aware of the technology, and they come and they ask for it in particular, because again, they have also another client that are interested to see their product in a VR format, which is very interesting.
Excellent, thank you. Another question to you, Michael. Where do you see the future in VR for professional architects heading towards, and can you foresee the next big thing?
Well, that's my honest opinion, okay? I think the VR implementation will happen very soon in every studio, in every architecture firm. Most of the design offices should have at least, for now I'm saying one, but at least it will be 5 or 6 VR stations that cover all departments. I'm seeing the futures based on news and based on what's happening around. Technology will be much cheaper, will be much easier. It won't need, with the 5G technology, you won't need in-house computing facilities. You can run everything through the cloud, which will allow people to have very light gadget to use and move around, take it with their clients, take it in their meetings. And that's really will help more people to get encouraged and use the technology.
I'm going to take the last question for Soren, because sorry, we're running out of time. Soren, there were a few questions on the cost associated to the traditional and services from Autodesk and the VR element. Are they one package and you can just purchase the license and you get access to everything, or you need to upgrade or purchase a dedicated license for that?
Yes, very good question. So just a short answer, yes, we have a package. We have bundles of 20-25 tools. So for AEC specialists, and we have the AEC collections, and includes tools where you can build your models, and includes tools where you can create your VR scene, like 3D Max Interactive. So from our perspective, with one single subscription, and we have subscription model, you can subscribe for 1, 2, 3 years, depending on your needs. You are covered with one single package. You can find out more by just an easy search on our website, Autodesk AEC Collections.
To you, Soren and Michael, I personally learned a lot today. We in the VR industry are very proud to have you as partners along with the IC, because this is how we can grow all together the XR ecosystem. and we can enter new business verticals. And today was AEC industry and virtual reality. Thank you very much and have a great day.